Hi, this is Dr. Damon Miller. Welcome to the OrganicMD podcast. We're here today, still in the midst of the wildfires in California, and it's become such an issue that we decided to devote an entire podcast to it. We're going to be talking about the kinds of things you can do to protect yourself from the very toxic smoke from these wildfires that's now blanketing the entire earth, and also detoxifying from some of the worst aspects of the smoke. When you're out, if you're following the air quality index, if the air quality index is 200 parts per million of the small particles, being out in that air for any length of time, it's like smoking a couple of packs of cigarettes a day or more. So it's pretty serious stuff, but there are things you can do, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to be doing this today with Christine Rosche. So Christine Rosche is a Master of Public Health and a certified nutritional specialist, and she's worked for years and years as a specialist with microbiome and digestive health. Is an expert that's developed an integrative approach to digestive health and stress management, and has had over 25 years in this field, including a lot of years recently here in the San Francisco Bay Area working at Stanford. She's written a couple of books and is just really good on this. Now you ask, how is a bowel specialist useful here? Understand that in most of the major medical systems in the world, besides Western medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, Oriental medicine, and even a lot of the indigenous medicines, there's a clear understanding that the lungs and the gut are linked. The health of one depends on the health of the other. I like the poetry of it. In Oriental medicine, the lungs are responsible for bringing in pure energy from heaven, and the bowels are responsible for getting rid of everything you don't want. So anyhow, let's just say hi to Christine. Hi, Christine.
Thank you so much, Damon. And I'm delighted to be here with you. I also want to introduce Dr. Damon Miller, who is a functional medicine physician in private practice, practicing in Redwood City. And he's been doing this for many years, since 1985. And detox is an integral part of his practice in helping you with the root cause of your health issues.
Well, thank you. So, Christine, start us off here. You've been doing a lot of research in preparation for this talk. So I know we're going to be talking about a number of things, just basically how to protect yourself from the smoke, how to detoxify from the smoke, some things that can be done in terms of herbs and supplements and different kinds of essences, and basically how to work with the bowel, which we've said is a critical part. Keeping your bowel functional, healthy, moving is an important part of all this. So go ahead and take off with this here.
Yes, thank you, Damon. One of the key pieces of research that came out recently is that people that had a healthy microbiome, bacteria that was balanced and was effective at removing the toxins, actually were less susceptible to flus, colds, and also to infections such as the SARS-CoV virus. So they showed that giving people in these experiments, specific types of viruses, the people that had the right colonic microbiome balance, which meant not very much overgrowth of bad bacteria, very strong, healthy microbes that really help them absorb, digest their food, and boost their immunity, actually had much better outcome. They actually had a 75% reduction in flu cases with people in the lungs themselves with lung issues that had a healthy gut. So that's why I'm focusing on, in this podcast, on helping you, with the organs of elimination. The gut colon is one of the most important ones, just like also the lymphatics, the kidneys, and so on.
Yeah, and well, thank you. Yeah, and if you poke around, we did a previous podcast about COVID and bowel health, so there's much more information on that.
Yes, and exactly. And so if you, one of the things that's very important for you to know is I'm offering as part of this, we're going to have, of course, specific things posted here with detailed information for you. And I am also offering a personalized cleanse of your digestive system that will be individualized for you, as well as a test if you would like to take a test, I'll help you find the right test for you that helps you assess your microbiome. And to do that and get that information, please go to www.digestivehealth.center, CENTER. Again, www.digestivehealth.center, or you can reach me at 650-856-3151. Well, one of the most important things is the air you breathe, the inside air, because it's very important for you, to stay inside during the high levels of smoke pollution, as Damon was indicating.
Right.
And so you need to know that your heating and air conditioning can really help you with that. If you have, forced air system, the type of system you have, you can do a great job at filtering the air by making sure that you get a MERS, MERS filter that's at the 300 or higher level, the medical grade, in your furnace system. That can make a really big difference.
Yeah, and you can find those at your local hardware store or Home Depot. You don't have to, go searching all over the world for those. That's a common thing. You just need to make sure you got that in your filter.
Yes, very, very critical. And also the other is, when you are outside, if you must go outside, I've done a lot of different research for which masks are best for you, which will be included as part of this podcast. You can see the handout with what we provide you with. Just very, very specifically, I want to say that the best mask is the one that provides you with a filter to breathe and also virus protection and smoke protection. So that's the key.
Yeah, and just we don't want to flood you with too much detail on this audio podcast, but if you go to the podcast page or you go to Christine's website, you'll find easy links where you can download all this information and much more than we're actually speaking. Some of the detailed stuff she did research on with the masks and the indoor air filters, and so that's going to be there for you to download and read. So just we'll try and keep this smooth and easy and short here, just for your listening pleasure. So
great.
So Christina, what about we had talked too about the molecule filter?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's a bit pricey, but boy, is it a great indoor air filter.
Yes, that's really very important because most of us are working from home now. We spend so much time indoors as it is, and research shows the indoor air is actually sometimes even more polluted without the smoke than the outdoor air. So the molecule is the one that I have used for myself. Most of the physicians use it that I worked with, many patients. So I highly recommend the one. It's MOLEKULE, and we'll have a link to that for a special offer for you when you go to the supportive documentation. There'll be a link to molecule.
Thank you for putting that together.
Yes. The other is, hydrate. The most important thing is, in order for the lymphatics, in all the organs, kidneys, bladder, the colon, to eliminate, drink lots of hot liquids. Chicken soup or herbal tea stimulate the filaments, the cilia filaments that cover your cells. So these cilia will help remove mucus and foreign bodies from your cells. And so hot liquids get them moving more quickly to flush it away.
And again, when we're talking about all this smoke and the lungs, assuming you haven't, been smoking cigarettes for the last 20 years where you've killed all the cilia in your lung, but if you've got reasonably healthy lungs, our bodies have a way to get rid of all this garbage that falls into them when the air is so full of toxic smoke. And it's those little cilia, they're remarkable things. They sort of move and they lift and pull all that stuff out of your lungs and dump it into your throat where you can swallow it. So again, the best thing for most problems is to really support the natural systems that are already there. So drinking fluid, keeping your lungs and the lining of your lungs moist is one of the kindest things you can do. And do you want to say something about N-acetylcysteine or
Yes,
NAC?
exactly. That is so critical. That research has shown that at least 1,800 milligrams a day during the smoke exposure will help your lungs to create the right type of fluid or liquids to help expel some of these irritants. So N-acetylcysteine is a critical part of the protocol. take 600 milligrams 3 times a day or 900 milligrams twice a day minimum. Some of you that have more compromised lungs, you can take a little bit more than that if you need to. The other is quercetin. Very important to take as much quercetin, 250 milligrams a couple of times a day will really help to reduce the inflammation in your air passageways.
Yeah, and just for the NAC, the N-acetylcysteine, most vitamin companies that sell it just refer to it as NAC. Thorne makes a very good one. That originally kind of came to be understood as something valuable for the lungs in work with the people with cystic fibrosis. Now, fortunately, most of you don't know anybody with cystic fibrosis. It's a genetic disease where you don't make the right kind of mucus and it becomes really sticky and clogs up your lungs and your gut and you die if you don't do something about it. Well, the modern treatment for cystic fibrosis is a whole lot of N-acetylcysteine for these kids every day. And so, there's been, this is one of those things that doctors just don't go after natural treatments, but this stuff has been published over and over again in all kinds of peer-reviewed journals. The New England Medical Journal had a great review article over 20 years ago about how this was useful for all kinds of things like emphysema and asthma, and basically all it does is that when your lungs are irritated, they make mucus to try and protect themselves and also to just in response to the irritation. And so that's the phlegm you cough up when there's all this stuff in the air. But if you're not hydrated or if that gets sticky, it's hard to get it out. And so just something as simple as N-acetylcysteine works miracles to keep that phlegm that your lung is producing soft and loose so that you can move it out of your lungs with all the garbage that it carries with it. And it's just if you did that one thing alone, you would find amazing benefits. So, and it's cheap. Yeah.
Thank you. Also, rinsing your nasal passages, exposure to smoke makes your nasal passages irritated, dried out. Use a neti pot or use some of the nasal rinses. And you can also make a steam pot with dried thyme leaves if you prefer to do that. That has very good antimicrobial, antiviral factors. And I also recommend, peppermint tea is fantastic. And you can make ginger tea because ginger is one of the best herbs for lung purification. Add lemon to it, which eliminates toxins from the respiratory tract. You can also add a little bit of turmeric for the inflammation. So a great tea is either peppermint, echinacea tea will support the inflammation, ginger root, and ginger lemon tea with turmeric and raw honey is one of the best things you can do for the emulsives.
And if you have a Trader Joe's near you, they make a really beautiful and very inexpensive ginger and turmeric tea. And I just, in addition to the teas, I just want to say that some of the things that you take in with this smoke do actually become systemic. In other words, they are toxins that don't stick in your lungs. They get into the rest of the body. And it's a little much to talk about everything that you can do to detoxify your body because of this toxic exposure. But one of the things that a course that we've offered, an online course that we've offered for many years now, and that we're going to be doing again in the middle of October, and you can find a link to that on the podcast page or on the web page at OrganicMD.com. And that is just a course on detoxifying your detoxifying your body and detoxifying your home. Toxicity is just a fact of life in the 21st century. It's not the cause of all disease, but it is an obstacle that if you don't deal with it, it will become a major obstacle in the way of your healing yourself. So there are things you can do on your own, in your own home, that can detoxify your body and detoxify your home. And it's a very worthwhile course. I strongly recommend it because we'll be dealing not only with the lungs, but detoxifying everything else, heavy metals and all the other crap that fills us up and poisons us.
Great. Thank you, Damon. The other is, if you have burning eyes, you can make a poultice with chamomile. Many of my clients reported quite a bit of eye irritation this last week. So, having that eye poultice with chamomile and also sometimes with lavender, other things you want to add to that are very effective. Yeah.
And the easiest way to make a chamomile tea poultice is get some chamomile tea bags, make a cup of tea, drink the tea, take the tea bag, wring it out, and put it over your eyes.
That's great. And I also recommend, of course, good bowel motility is the number one. Just like you want your lymphatics to move, you want to drink enough water to help your colon, and the main organ of elimination is to work on bowel motility. And this would have to do with looking at what you're eating and what is making it easier, for you for good bowel motility is actually consuming some vegetable juices. You can try celery juice, cucumber juice, Spanish black radish, and daikon. A wonderful remedy for diaphoresis, which means opening up those organs, is radishes and lemon with olive oil. It's a really great lung diaphoresis.
Yeah, and radishes, we're in the fall now, at least out here. Radishes are not exactly in season, but turnips and radishes are pretty much genetically identical. So you don't think about that, but if you can't find radishes, use turnips.
That's
and the other thing, just with the bowel motility, I just want to say, there's an epidemic of magnesium deficiency in this country. We just don't get, magnesium is hardly even a vitamin. It's actually a macronutrient. You need a lot of it. And if you're just taking a multivitamin, you're not getting anywhere near enough. So if you've got constipation or any kind of a neurological condition, whether you've got a heart arrhythmia or you're having leg cramps at night, or you've got, some sort of a nervous problem, including that your gut isn't working well enough to get past the stool out, just taking magnesium every day is a very useful thing. We recommend magnesium malate as the form of magnesium because the malic acid, so it's a salt between magnesium and malic acid. Malic acid is actually quite soothing to the gut. So it's sort of a 2-for-1 thing for your gut using magnesium malate, and just up the dose until you get diarrhea. The only thing that happens if you take too much magnesium is you get diarrhea. So if you're constipated, you probably don't really need to worry about that. Just take enough so that your bowels start moving once or twice a day.
Great. And then also, if you have an infrared sauna, that's a really good way to remove the toxins. And with that, making some vegetable healing broths and soups can make a big difference. And vitamin C has also been shown to be very effective in helping detox from the smoke. So, and generally speaking, what's recommended is the product Vitality C, which I know Damon and I use from American Nutraceuticals. And you take, as a maintenance dose, a lot of people with smoke take at least 1,000 milligrams every couple of hours during this stressful time.
Doctors tend to not understand vitamin C. I just want to remind people that Linus Pauling, the physician, won 2 Nobel Prizes on his own, unheard of in science. Usually you have to share it with somebody because the work is done together. 2 Nobel Prizes, both for the work he did, the very amazing work on vitamin C. And since he won those prizes, did all that work, other doctors have come along, published books, published articles, all in peer-reviewed stuff. Vitamin C is just a very useful thing. The Vitality C that Christine just mentioned, the thing that's nice about that is it's a sodium ascorbate, so it's a sodium salt of vitamin C, not a calcium salt, which is much better tolerated by the gut. And then you combine with that, it's bound to a 5-carbon sugar, ribose, which doesn't affect cancers or blood sugar or anything like that, but it does allow the vitamin C to be sucked out of the gut almost immediately. It starts getting absorbed even in your stomach. And the reason for that is that you can start taking pretty large doses and it doesn't upset your gut. So if you start trying to take, anything more than, 4 or 5, 6 milligrams a day of calcium ascorbate, you're going to have the runs, you're going to have an upset stomach. People take, depending on what kind of medical condition they have, they take 20, 30, 40 grams of vitamin C in the form of Vitality C every day. And it just goes into their body to help them. It doesn't give them diarrhea. So yeah, vitamin C is a great one.
Also, many of us, of course, having to be inside for the whole last week in the Bay Area, found that rebounding on a rebounder, if you have a rebounder, if you don't, you can do the same thing just by pumping and moving your feet slightly, up and down and for about 5 minutes or so a day, or because that's what gets the lymph activated. So one of the things that's so important is movement. So remember, if you have to be inside, do some type of movement to get your lymph flowing. And rebounding is only one of the movements.
Yeah, no, rebounding is great. Any of these things, little things that you can do indoors. We're assuming that you're doing something to be purifying your indoor air, that your indoor air is cleaner than what's outside. And that can be just as simple as, shutting all the windows and, letting whatever garbage is in the air settle out, or get sucked up by your furnace filter. But yeah, so there's a lot more that we, can talk about. We're going to be having this course on detoxifying your body in your home, the things that Christine's doing with the bowel health, the gut health, and do you want to just say a little more about the kind of guided bowel detox that you're going to be offering?
Yes, it's very important to look at, basically your history. I'm going to be doing a detailed intake to see what your digestive history is, what you've been doing the last few years, what your diet is, because part of the bowel detox is we want to make sure that you detoxify at the right level. So I'm going to be putting together a customized nutrition plan. And what I use for that also is different types of juices and herbal teas between the meals. And sometimes it's a couple of days of certain types of meal replacements that you drink that open up your phase 1 and phase 2 detox system. So it actually helps your liver to pack up the toxins and then open them up. So you'll be doing many different types of vegetables, juicing, herbal teas, also other kinds of things in the bath. In addition, we will assess very carefully how to, customize the detox for you. I'm also going to look at the microbial balance of your gut. How many of the good microbes do you have and how many bad, and what's missing to help you absorb, digest your food, and remove toxins.
Yeah. And, that's that kind of, this is the wisdom of the grandmothers that we're dealing with here. I mean, back in the 20th, way back in the 20th century, I mean, it was understood by people who were really interested in how do you make a person healthy, that health begins in the gut. That an unhealthy gut is behind a lot of illness. And, come into the 21st century and some of the tools that Christine uses, there you can really analyze this in a much more detailed way, come up with plans for correcting things when they're off. And it makes a huge difference. It really makes a huge
Thank you,
difference.
Damon. I had so many clients this week who reported that they found the root cause of the digestive issue by doing the gut test, which is found at www.digestivehealth.center. Again, digestivehealth.center. We have many different levels of gut tests, and they are within just 2 months. They're finding relief from things they've been working on for the last 10 years, with no results in the standard way of treating those things.
Right. You don't need more proof than that. So, Christine, what's your phone number again?
650-856-3151.
Thank you. Yeah, and you can reach me at 888-838-3937, 888-838-3937, or you can find us at OrganicMD.com. And again, go to the podcast page. The podcast, you can find it on your favorite podcast service. Just search for OrganicMD, and you'll find the podcast page where you will find this posted within about 24 hours. And on that page, you'll be able to download, you'll find links to download the papers that we're offering that have the information that we've been talking about here, with a lot more information as well. So I think we've probably overwhelmed people with more than they wanted to know, but do you have anything else to add here at the end?
I think, Damon, you wanted to mention a follow-up to this. There was something, we're going to do another one to this podcast.
Yeah, we're going to come back sort of as an introduction to the detoxification course, which is a 4-week course. It combines a 1 hour video each week, and then a 1 hour conference call with Christine and with me, and talking about detox in a much broader way, detoxifying your body, detoxifying your home, not just focusing on the lungs. And so we'll be doing another one following up on this, new things we find out about the lungs, but also just sort of introducing the broader course so you can make a decision whether you want to do that or not. And a link to sign up for that course will also be on the podcast page. Great. Okay. Well, again, this is Dr. Damon Miller and Christine Rosche. We've been here on the OrganicMD podcast talking about how to deal with this choking smoke that is all up and down the West Coast and now covering the world. And we hope you found this useful. And please like the podcast page and subscribe if you want to be notified when new podcasts are put up. So thank you. Bye, Christine.
Bye.